Hey y'all, welcome back to Through the Screen. I'm Brittany.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Charlotte.
We hope you've been enjoying our episodes so far, liking, commenting, and sharing with your friends. If you missed any of them, head on over to our channel and watch. And if you're not already, be sure to subscribe while you're there. This week, we're back with all new topics, including a very special throwback, so we hope you'll follow us once again as we join together via Skype to bring you conversations through the screen.
This episode, we decided to take a break from some of our more serious topics and bring you a fun Southern-inspired episode. First, we'll be throwing it back to almost exactly a year ago when the three of us met in Nashville for Wizard World Comic-Con. We will also be discussing a hilarious story of a drunk cowboy who was saved by a sober horse, updates from Taji Cove, a Southern-style strawberry daiquiri, and recapping the week's Dancing with the Stars episode. First up, Nashville.
Since it's been an entire year since the three of us met in person, we wanted to give you a little insight on our relationship and how that all went down. We all met in Nashville, Tennessee, exactly a year ago today, right? Or no, a year ago tomorrow. Exactly a year ago tomorrow. We all went there to go to a Wizard World convention, and we were meeting Holly Marie Combs, Shannon Doherty, and Brian Cross as well. So we are just going to give you a little insight to how that trip went for the three of us.
All right, I guess I'll go first. I went down there with my friend Kelly, and we took a plane down there exactly a year ago tomorrow, and we got there probably about 5:30ish, and went to the store, got like snacks and food and stuff like that because we were starving, and went back to the hotel room and waited for everybody else. We ended up falling asleep, which was pretty funny. We wake up, and naturally, like, both of our phones have, like, been blown up by everybody. Like, Brittany's like, "Where are you guys?" Emily's like,
we were getting worried about them.
No, we fell asleep. So naturally we get in touch with everybody, and we went down to Emily and Cindy's room, and that's where we all kind of like converged, and they obviously, the four of them were already there, so me and Kelly walk in, and that's like how I met Brittany. But I actually met Emily and Cindy earlier, because when we came back from going to the store for the second time to get drinks, because we were hungry and thirsty, I saw Emily and Cindy outside, saw me or Kelly, and, like, I guess it was, like patio area where people, like, sat and hung out, for the hotel, that were members of the hotel and staying in the hotel, and they were up on the sidewalk, looking, I think you were looking for a place to eat, right?
I was taking a picture on my phone.
Oh, well, she was taking a picture, and, I kind of snuck around people and jumped on top of her.
Okay, this is my perspective. So, I was taking a picture with my phone, and as I look at it, I hear screaming, someone, like, running at me, and I, like, almost have a heart attack, and then Charlotte jumps on me, and it was an awesome meeting, but, like, we still talk about that to this day, because she scared the crap out of me, so.
And Cindy's like, "Oh my gosh, oh, Charlotte!"
Oh, hey!
Yeah, and, so I met Brittany. Brittany was in the room already in the hotel, and obviously Emily and Brittany had already met because it was Emily's room, so I came down, and we just kind of ended up having, like, a big conversation, I think, about what was going to happen the next day, like, everything that was going on, how we felt, all, like, because the giddiness and the excitement. Just
that was so fun. And we had chocolate.
Everything.
We had pink chocolate.
Yes.
Oh my God, pink chocolate. Oh.
From New Zealand.
Oh, that was so fun. Yeah, I actually got to Nashville like really early that day because we actually drove there because it's not so far from me. I think it was like a 5-hour drive, and at the time I was afraid of flying, which is funny now. But so we drove down there and got there really early and had actually already went to the convention center. And I had met my friend Janine, which I was super excited about because, like, I was, like, in the convention waiting for her, or we were waiting for, like, a photo op or something, and Janine, like, walked over and I, like, ran across the whole thing to see her, and I met Katie, too, and she was talking to a sign, which was, like, hilarious. So, we then, when I met Emily and Cindy, they were sitting in the lobby at the hotel because we all stayed in different rooms, but we stayed at the same hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I remember, like, the walk from, I think that after that, like, we went and ate pizza and stuff. We'd all talked, like, every day on Twitter and stuff. So, like, actually meeting in person for the first time was, like, really nerve-wracking. And so when we get in the hotel and I see them sitting over there on the couch, it was just so exciting, and everyone hugging each other. And then, like, we were kind of panicked because, like, no one could get a hold of Charlotte. Little did we know she's in there sleeping, of course. So we finally, like, I go back up to my hotel room, and then I was, like, getting ready for bed, and I was actually, like, writing a letter, and then finally I get a text or tweet from Cindy who was like, hey, come down to our room. So, like, I was, like, so super excited, and we run down the steps to get to their room, and I finally get to meet Charlotte and Kelly, which I was super excited to do, because Charlotte and I literally talked, like, every single day, and I had just broken my phone talking to Charlotte.
Meeting Katie and Janine was fun because that's the day that I met Katie and Janine, was the 27th, and you guys were all standing by Holly and Brian, and
Oh, yeah, on the side.
and you guys were on the side, and I just remember walking up and saying hi to everybody. I was, like, really overwhelmed, and Janine said to me, I'm from Boston, and I kind of blew her off, and I felt so bad afterwards. I was like, I'm so mean. Like, that girl was so nice to me, and I just blew her off. And come to behold now, like, me and Janine talk about that. Like, I'm like, I was so mean. I'm so sorry. Like, I wasn't trying. I was just overwhelmed. And, like, she just understood. She was like, I got it. I was overwhelmed, too. Like, it was not taken. And Katie was so, like, she just would not stop talking. She was a spitfire. So excited. And,
she goes a mile a minute.
yeah, she was. She was a mile a minute, and she was just so excited and giddy and happy the whole weekend that, like, I couldn't help but, love her.
Since I live in California, it was too far and too expensive for me to even think about going. But I would always get really sad because I kept seeing all these Twitter people say that they were going, and I was like, I want to go too. But then, for my birthday in June, a few months before Nashville, my friend Cindy, who lives in New Zealand, sent me a video, and at first I thought it was just like a birthday message or something, but she told me that herself and 7 or 8 other Twitter people, including Brittany, were offering to basically pay for my trip as a birthday present. And I, like, started sobbing because I'm like, this only happens on Oprah. What is this? I was like, what? It's true. I was like, is this, like, I thought I was dreaming or something. But it was completely true. And so my friend Cindy from New Zealand, she flew all the way to LA and then to where I am in San Jose, and we flew together to Nashville, which was really cool, meeting her in the airport and everything. But with Brittany, I'd only talked to her a little bit on Twitter before Nashville, but with Charlotte, we had already been talking for over a year, and we kept talking about how much we wanted to meet and everything, and so when I found out I was going, it was super exciting to meet both of them and also to meet other Twitter people. And the craziest thing for me was that my parents from the beginning were totally cool with me going, which is crazy because I was about to fly all the way across the country by myself to essentially spend the whole weekend with strangers. And from the beginning, my mom was like, "Oh, that's so cool." I just thought it was funny.
It's so funny to think about, though, because honestly, like, if you, like, really just think about it, like, we literally, like, half of us hadn't ever met any of us before. So, like, we're literally, like, going to hang out with strangers for the weekend. And the friendships that we have, like, strengthened since then. And, I mean, because immediately after, we started Skyping all the time. And there hasn't been a week that we have gone without Skyping for sure. I mean, there's barely days in between our Skypes, let alone, like, weeks. So it's just a really, really cool thing that that came from our trip.
Yeah.
And, I mean, again, like you said, when we essentially, like, went and met strangers, it never felt like we were strangers together. Like, even
not for 1 second.
Not for a minute. Like,
even when Charlotte scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, but I knew, like, even scaring the crap out of you, it would not feel like something odd.
Yeah.
It didn't.
And it's so funny because we do have, like, a wide age difference, too, because, like, we go all the way from Katie, who was 14 at the time, to Kelly. You know, like, we have, like, a wide age difference, and, like, it feels like...
Kelly's in her 40s, so, I mean...
Yeah, so, like, it's like we have, like, this wide age difference, and it felt like, I mean, it did not... When we're sitting in the hotel room chilling, like, I don't know, like, it's so cool and weird, and if you're not a part of it, you may think it's a little strange, but it's really, I don't know, I'm so thankful and grateful for it.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I was so overwhelmed this whole trip. I was like, how am I going to do this? Like, on the plane, I was so nervous and everything, but it was amazing. Like, as Brittany was saying, I met her in the lobby of the hotel, and I remember, like, looking in every direction, like, waiting for them to come in. Like, my heart was beating so fast. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're finally going to meet. And it was really cool to meet them. And then the story with Charlotte that you just heard, that was definitely memorable for sure. And spending the evening in the hotel was really awesome. Just getting to know everybody and sharing stories and sharing chocolate, and that was just, like, a really good way to start the trip, I think. And then I personally could not sleep at all. It was so hard for me to go to sleep because it was my first time meeting Holly. Well, actually all of them, but I was especially nervous for Holly for some reason, and it was so hard for me to go to sleep. So yeah, I mean, meeting them was incredible, but my favorite thing was meeting all of my friends from Twitter, and, you know, just the weekend that we kind of spent together. And turns out I still talk to most of them all the time, especially Charlotte and Brittany. And, you know, that's kind of the biggest thing that I took away from the trip is all the friends that I made, and I think that was just really special.
Yeah, me too. I definitely think, like, it's funny because, like, initially, when I first knew I was going to Nashville, because as soon as Shannon was the one that tweeted, like, they were going to be in Nashville, and she tweeted this, I think it was, like, in the end of May, and I was like, I'm going. Like, I knew I was going. Like, I wanted to meet them. I'd wanted to meet Holly my whole life, and so, like, I was going, and I was so excited, but, like, after it all said and done, like, the best thing about it, not that I'm not completely overwhelmingly grateful for the conversations and the time I spent with Holly, Shannon, and Brian, but I'm just so grateful for the friendships, because almost every single person that I met there are, like, my best friends now. Like, we literally, like, I can trust them, and we tell each other everything, our ups and downs, when we're mad, when we're, you know, crying or whatever. I mean, there's been a couple of Skypes where one of us are crying over something that has happened, and I'm just really grateful. I'm so grateful for the friendships.
Yeah, and it led to us starting this show, because we we Skyped a lot, and then we had this idea to do this show. And I was just super thankful, because I did not expect to go, and I was just really, really thankful to everybody for giving me this opportunity and the fact that I got to meet everybody. So it was amazing. Best trip of my life, definitely. And I want to go back every day.
Especially this weekend. It's, like, makes me tear up thinking about it. Like,
so
I
sad.
can't even imagine how much better, I mean, not that it wasn't amazing, but how much better it would be, like, right now. Like, I can't wait to get together again, like, in person.
Right. And we also have a clip from one of our friends sharing her story, my friend Cindy from New Zealand that went with me. But we just wanted to share our experiences with you guys for this 1-year anniversary.
Hey everyone, so I flew over to Nashville from New Zealand. I had already previously met the Charm cast that year, so the reason for me wanting to go to Nashville was because I had seen how many people from Twitter were going, and I just knew it was going to be an amazing weekend and that I had to be there. So I started looking at flights, and basically after about 2 days of thinking about it, I was just like, I'm going. So I booked a flight, and that was it. And then I started thinking of how easy it was for me to do that when it was like a 17-hour flight. It took me like 17 hours to get there. And I thought, well, if it's easy for me to do that, surely it must be easy to get Emily, who's from California and a lot closer than me, there, get her there. So that's when I started thinking about, well, how can we do this? And an idea popped into my head, and well, to make a long story short, 2.5 months later, Emily and I were about to step on a plane bound for Nashville after only having met like an hour beforehand at the airport. That was such an amazing first experience. I remember meeting her, but everything was all a bit of a blur for a little while. But yeah, it was just so cool to see her walk through the airport doors and just be able to hug her and not have to type and say hello and actually say hello in person. So we got on a plane and flew, I think it was like 5 hours or something, and we stepped off the plane in Nashville, and we were about to meet a group of amazing and wonderful people that we had been blessed and had been given the chance to know over Twitter. Meeting them all face to face was something that I'll always remember, and I'm very grateful that I even had the chance to do that. From the moment Emily and I were sitting in the hotel lobby waiting for Cassie and Brittany to come and meet us there, to the moment when Charlotte came running up behind Emily and basically jumped on her and scared the living daylights out of her, to the time Kelly asked Holly about open mouth kisses, and Janine just being the coolest person ever with the best, cutest little button badges. They just made the weekend. They were so awesome. And Katie and Tommy just being two of the coolest people I've ever met. Nashville was a weekend I spent with people I consider to be my family, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
This week in Taiji, we haven't seen any major news. However, the drive hunts have been a huge roller coaster of emotions. We saw 2 days of captive selection, September 18th and 19th, which were absolutely heartbreaking because these hunters would leave the dolphins in the cove on their lunch breaks and even overnight, just terrified and waiting to know their fate. In total, about 80 bottlenose dolphins were driven into the cove, and 50 were chosen as live captives, while the remaining 28 to 30, which were mainly juveniles, were aggressively driven back to sea. And it seems good that they weren't slaughtered, but without their families, their chance of survival isn't great anyways. And on top of that, September 22nd was a Red Cove Day, seeing the slaughter of about 8 to 10 rhesus dolphins. But luckily, the 20th, 21st, 23rd, and yesterday, the 24th, were all Blue Cove days. But again, we will continue to bring you updates from Taiji throughout the season, and links to live streams from both the Cove Guardians and Dolphin Project will be in the description box below.
For our happy Southern-inspired story this week, we decided to kind of look outside the box a little and kind of find something a little that relates to Southern likeness, I guess is the best way to put it. So we searched and we found a story, excuse me, about a guy who was driving home to his house, decided to stop in a daiquiri store, and he wound up drinking a little too much, and he had a horse, and I'm guessing a trailer in the back of his truck or whatever, and decided that instead of driving his car home, he would drive the horse home to avoid, thinking it was the more responsible way of going about things. So he drives the horse home, but still winds up getting pulled over. The horse did save him from getting a DWI, but he still got fined, I believe.
Yeah, public intoxication.
Yeah, for being publicly intoxicated. So, I guess it's kind of like a moral of the story is, even though he tried to, he thought he was doing the right thing, it's, still not really good that, he stopped in the store to begin with and got drunk and then said, hey, I'll ride my horse home. But apparently, in some states, like Montana, they actually encourage you to ride your horse home drunk instead of driving. Which I kind of thought was funny, because must be a lot of drunk cowboys.
Yeah, and I think there are also some states that consider a horse a car, or a vehicle, so you would get fined for a DUI in some states.
That's confusing, because it's then how do you know what state it's legal in and what state it's not legal in? So
yeah, it's just a funny little southern story that we wanted to share with you guys.
Since this week is different than anything we've ever done, our item of the week is unique. We decided to do a Southern-inspired strawberry daiquiri. We will link a traditional strawberry daiquiri recipe below, but instead of the traditional rum or vodka that is normally added to it, we use good old whiskey. So what did you guys think?
Well, there are a few ways to make this. There will be a recipe below, but you can either get strawberry daiquiri mix and just mix that with whiskey, or if you can't get that, like I wasn't able to, you can use frozen strawberries, sugar, ice, and whiskey. So I blended that up, and to help it blend a little bit better, I added water, but I didn't want to make it too watery, so I also added some orange juice. And eventually I gave up and drank it with the ice chunks and the frozen strawberry chunks, but I really liked it. I thought it was good. Because I only added 2 little capfuls of whiskey just to be safe, because they said it was super strong. So I don't know, I liked it, and I had that tangy orange flavor too, so that's another thing you can add, but I would try it again.
Yeah, for me, I would probably do it again. The only problem was that I put a little too much whiskey in there, so it kind of, all I could really taste was whiskey. I really couldn't taste that much. I mean, I could taste the mix and stuff, but for the most part, all I could really taste was whiskey, which was a little much. But, and again, I'm not used to it whiskey. I was always used to it rum, so I think that made the whiskey stand out even more.
I really liked it. I mean, you could taste the whiskey, because I used a full shot of whiskey, probably a shot and a half, and I didn't have a very big cup, so
so if you're over 21 or well, if you're in another country, I guess the ages are different, but if you want to try it, let us know what you think, and if there's any other recipes that you want us to try. This week on Dancing with the Stars, we saw a double elimination, as well as a few Dancing with the Stars firsts. First off, the contestants had to learn 2 dances in 1 week, which has never been done in the second week of competition. And also, we got to see some of the professional dancers' hometown stories, which we usually only see if their dancers make it to the finale. So it was pretty cool to see some of those that we hadn't seen before. And so this week we saw Shaka Khan and Victor Espinoza as our first 2 eliminated stars. So what did you guys think of the elimination and the dances so far?
Honestly, I wasn't surprised by the elimination at all. Shaka Khan, again, didn't come back with really that much on Monday night. You could tell she tried, definitely improved a little, but compared to some of the others, she just, sometimes people just don't have it. She just didn't have it, and that's all. There's nothing wrong with that. She's a much better singer. That's all. Again, Victor, wasn't surprised by him getting eliminated. He had movement in his hips, but just didn't have movement anywhere else. So sometimes that happens. It's not anything bad. It just is what it is. So I'm not surprised. I guess America voted the right way, which I like. I always hate when somebody gets eliminated that should not have been eliminated and somebody makes it through that should have gone home. That always really annoys me, so I was okay with that. As far as the dances themselves, I had a lot of really good favorites this week. Tamar and Val's Charleston. I enjoyed that dance so much. I thought it was so much fun to watch, and it just looked like it was like fun to do, and it made me want to get up and dance, and I was like, yay! Nick and Sharna, he covered that fall really good in the first on Monday night.
Yeah, like, I couldn't even tell.
I didn't even really know it was part of part of the routine.
I was like, did he fall or is that part of the dance?
Yeah, but I guess it was kind of obvious to the audience that was there and to the judges, obviously, because they pointed it out. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody watching at home, I didn't even notice. I thought it was part of the dance. But he came back the next night and did really well, so I was very proud of the second dance. Again, he credited the shoes for the reason why he fell, which has happened before. Wardrobe malfunctions are very known on that show. But yeah, so Alexa, Carlos, they both did really well again this week. Alec, who is like really becoming one of my favorites fast. I loved that dance on the porch. It was beautiful. I was like, yes, I love it. And some of the song choices this week, I was like so excited about, like Bindi dancing to AC/DC. I was like, yes, this is awesome. Like, so I was happy.
Yeah, and then I think Hayes danced to Florida Georgia Line, and I was like, yay! Because I love that song. But yeah, I agree. I really liked I liked Tamar, and I liked Alexa. Nick did well. Bindi did well. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be a close competition this time.
It's definitely shaping up to be an interesting top board when they get up there and people really start getting eliminated and it comes down to the best of the best. It's gonna start getting tough voting.
I really liked Alexa was my favorite this week. I didn't know that Nick fell until the judges said so because like dancing is not my thing. So I also just thought it was part of the routine. This week, who do you guys think is going to get sent home?
I think, obviously we don't like saying bad things about the stars, but I don't know, I personally don't really like his attitude, and sometimes he kind of makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable, but he's been in the bottom two the past 2 weeks, so I think he is likely to be the next one to go home.
Yeah, because I agree, because I feel like Paula, even though last week she wasn't as, like, we kind of really thought she was the one who was going to go home this week, she really stepped it up this week, and she surprised me, and I was very proud to see, that she, worked at improving, whereas some of the others, you can tell that they don't work to improve, which I enjoy. I always enjoy somebody who works at it and just tries to better it as best as they can. They're not perfect, but they, you can tell the improvement.
So we will keep bringing you guys updates from the show and what our thoughts are for each week.
For this week's Song of the Week, we chose Sam Hunt's Take Your Time because, as you know, Sam Hunt is based out of Nashville. It's where he was found. It's where he moved to start his career and become a country singer. So we decided to choose him. He is very popular right now, I guess is the best word to put it. He's all over the radio here, and I live in Boston. Country music is not that big right now here. It's just starting to, catch on. More people are listening to it. Like, I saw on Facebook the other day, somebody was like, oh, I'm listening to Kenny Chesney, and it's somebody who would, like, never listen to country music ever, so I was kind of shocked. But yeah, it is picking up here, and Sam Hunt is one of the big ones. House Party is another one that's all over the radio. But we chose Take Your Time because of the video. And just the song. I love the song personally, but the video is something very special. If you've never seen it, I think we will link it down below. it's basically about abusive relationship, just somebody trying to help somebody out without really getting anything in return. It's very it's just very heartwarming and very touching. So if you get the chance, I recommend to watch it. Like I said, it'll be linked down below.
Yeah. I love the song. It was the first song of his that I heard, and then I started listening to his other songs and downloading them and everything like that. But I don't know, I really love his voice and his sound, and I think his songs are really, really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think that as someone who listens to country music a lot, Take Your Time is probably one of my favorites on it, and the video, like Charlotte said, is just, it's really cool that that is what he chose to do with that video. Because listening to the song, like, I would never think domestic abuse. And so, like, when I watched the video, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy just rocks even more than I thought. So, if you haven't listened to Sam Hunt, I would recommend it, especially listening to this song, and then, you know, try some of his other stuff out, because he is really good. We just wanted to take a quick second to remind you that today is the very last day you can donate to the Fight Like a Badass fundraiser and receive a bracelet. So you have until midnight Eastern time, which is my time in the United States, to get your donation in, and then, like, the breast cancer site is the one that takes that off, so that's not my doing, so it will be sharply at 12 a.m. is your last chance to get your money in. And we also wanted to remind you that the Tomchin Family Foundation is still matching dollar for dollar any donation to the Cove Guardians up to $20,000. So if you ever thought about donating to the Cove Guardians, now would be a good time, because your donation will count twice.
Okay guys, that's our show. We hope you enjoyed this installment of Through the Screen. If you did, be sure to like down below and also subscribe to the channel. We appreciate any feedback you may have. We post new videos every week, and we'd love for you all to join us and tell your friends. Next week, we will be discussing a topic that many of us are likely familiar with, bullying. So be sure to come back next week to see what we have to say. Thanks for watching, stay informed, and we'll see you next time. Bye!